Hi, it's been a while since I've posted a video, and this is a story about my gastritis attack. It's the only one I've ever had in my life, and it was horrifying and horrible. And it was caused what I have deduced to be from the effects of polyethylene glycol um, withdrawals. And it all started about 4 months ago. I had quit. I don't drink much. I drank for many years, one beer a night with my dinner, and that's it. Other than maybe a mixed drink on the weekends. I haven't been to the club in many years. I'm a little bit too old for that, I guess, but you never can tell. Might get out there one of these days. But I was I had quit drinking altogether. That I was like, I don't need this anymore. Rather just drink water, maybe try and lose a little weight, get those calories out of my system. It's not like I'm drinking it to get drunk or anything. So I said, I'll just get rid of that. Well, I had been taking polyethylene glycol for my constipation for years. My previous doctor, if memory serves, told me that it was fine to just take it, as long as I wanted. So I just took as long as I wanted, and it worked fairly well, no problems. But after I quit drinking that one beer a night, I started having some problems about 3 months later. Uh, Real bad problems with my stomach. It started hurting. I was like, whoa. And I was taking my polyethylene glycol in the morning, mixing it up in water and drinking it. It's really no flavor hardly. Oh, put a little bit of lemon juice in there just to give it some flavor, because it does have a little bit of flavor, and that lemon juice cut it. But that's beside the point. I drank some that morning, and it didn't sit well with me, and I just threw it right back up. And I was like, oh, what is going on? And from that point on, I just started hurting. My stomach started hurting. And it was like a pain across the middle section and down into my liver. And I was like, oh. It kept getting worse and worse. And I was like, oh, this must be some sort of gastric problems. And I didn't even tie it in with the polyethylene glycol. I just said, oh, I got to cut that stuff out. This isn't sitting well with me. I didn't think about it, but nor the quitting of the alcohol, because you see, if you've been taking the polyethylene glycol for too long, you're only supposed to take it for a couple weeks. If you've been taking too long, your body becomes addicted to it, and your liver especially, and it'll build up until you start having all sorts of problems with your liver or your kidneys. I'm sorry. It builds up in your kidneys, and you start having problems with your kidneys and digestion and all sorts of stuff. And the alcohol is what flushes that out of your system. And so every day I was drinking that one beer, and that was enough alcohol to flush most of it out of my system. And so when I quit, it started building up very quickly because it was already there in me all the time for a long time, years. So it built up pretty quick. And my kidneys and everything started giving me problems, and I started hurting, and it felt like my liver was hurting, and it started pumping out a bunch of bile. I've had my gallbladder removed, so it felt like what had happened before my gallbladder went out on me. I was just pumping a bunch of bile down into my intestines, and I was like, oh. and I started hurting. It's got so bad I went to the ER, and they told me I had a stomach virus and gave me some pills to take, and they seemed to help a little bit, but then it just kept getting worse and worse over the next few days. And this was on a Sunday, and by Wednesday, all this time for like 2 weeks before this has been going on for like 3 weeks, and I've been eating really bland foods to try and fix it. I was like, well, I'm going to fix this myself. I'll just eat bland foods, and excuse me, and I'll fix it myself. Well, that helped some, but then it just kept getting worse and worse because I wasn't I didn't have any alcohol to pump that out of my kidneys or anything, so it was just circulating in me, just making things worse. And so I started thinking, well, after that first visit to the ER, I started thinking about that, and I was like, well, I bet that's what happened. I found out that the only two things that'll get that to flush out of your system is ethanol, and go to the ER where they will give you ethanol in an IV or another drug. Those are the only two things. And I thought, ethanol? Well, that's just alcohol, vodka. So I went and got some vodka, a little small thing of vodka, and took a couple shots. And that actually made the pain across the middle and into my liver go away. It seemed like that went away, but then my stomach and intestines just went on fire. And as that's being flushed out of me, I started getting gastritis, even worse. And it got so bad, I went to the ER that next Wednesday, just a few days later, half a week later, and and I had to wait, and it just kept getting worse and worse until I was just in so much pain. I was whimpering, which I had never whimpered from pain before. And I've been in pain quite a few times in my life from various things. And gallstones are nothing to laugh about. Those things hurt. But yeah, it was so painful. I was sitting there in the ER waiting room, hurting so bad. They finally got me in there, and I told them what was going on. They gave me a IV with a drug in it, and I think that would help flush out the rest of it. And they pumped me full of fluids because I wasn't able to keep anything down. I was puking. I puked up everything that I tried to eat, and puked up everything from the day before, and that's what made me go, I got to go to the ER for the second time. And they said, no, you haven't had any diarrhea or anything like that. It wasn't a virus. And they thought, well, that's probably what was going on with that stuff that you're taking. You're not supposed to take for very long. And that'll get your body addicted to this, like you're having withdrawals. And it was like I was having withdrawals from a drug or something almost. I never experienced withdrawals before from anything. And I was like, dang. And it hurt. And I was in so much pain. And after they gave me the IV and the drug in it and some stuff I took by mouth to help ease the pain, they gave me another prescription and sent me home because I was feeling a lot better by then. And I took that, but when I got home, I looked in the mirror, and I'd never seen myself like that before. I was literally gray with dark circles around my eyes. It was dark around my eyes. I looked like death warmed over. I'd literally never seen myself. I looked like I just crawled out of the casket or something. It was horrifying. And but I went to bed, and it was like 12:30 or so that in the morning, and slept the rest of the night. Woke up, looked a lot better, felt a lot better, but my stomach was still causing problems, of course, and I had to take the medication to help with that and eat a very restricted diet. And it took about 2 weeks, and I was able to start getting back on to stop taking the medication and ease my way back onto a regular diet. And I haven't had any problems since. No problems with eating, or even I've added back everything that I ate before, and no digestive issues. It's I do believe that it was like it was gastritis caused by the polyethylene glycol. I don't know what if I call it poisoning, but it was more like a withdrawal symptoms, painful withdrawals from a over-the-counter medication for constipation. Very strange, but I've been on it for years, so that's I'm glad that it's over with. I lost 25 pounds. That's why I look a little different than the last time you saw me. I've gained back about 5, but I'm glad that it's over with, and I'm glad that I haven't gained back the other 20. I feel better. I've been trying to lose that weight. It's just as a hard way to do it. Damn painful, hard way to do it. That's for damn sure. That's for damn sure. And I don't want to go through that again. Never again. Never again. And so, but hey, I'm kind of sticking to some of the diet. I'm added the spices back in, of course. It's not as bland, but I'm a vegetarian anyway, so it's not hard to eat some of that the vegetables and things to keep my digestive tract more happy, I guess, happier. I'm eating some oatmeal every now and then, which I've never been a big fan of, but add enough blueberries and nuts to it, and it tastes good. And blueberries and nuts are good for ketones for your liver to produce. So that helps keep my weight down. And that's the story of my gastric or gastritis symptoms caused by polyethylene glycol usage of years and years of doing so. And don't ever do that. Be smart enough to look it up. Make sure that you're not just saying, yeah, my former doc said it was all right to use it for as long as I want. And he probably didn't even mean that. Probably I thought I was like, yeah, he'll probably take it for a few more weeks. Nope. 8 years later, and I'm like, oh God, I'm freaking about to die from the pain. It was pretty bad. That's why I went to the ER. The only 2 ER visits in my entire life was that. So I think maybe I went once to the ER for a work injury, or a clinic, one of the two, maybe an outsourced clinic. But anyway, yeah, there's only 2 ER visits I can remember, and it was all within a week. I'm paying for that. Yeah, that was a expensive couple of visits. But hey, it was worth it to find out, get it all taken care of and set my physical path back on a good trajectory. Feeling a lot better, eating decent, trying to not eat as much so I can keep my weight down. Although part of my problem was, I'd eat real healthy and then at night I'd snack on chips and dip. Start sounding like Burt Reynolds. But yeah. So I'm trying to cut back on the snacks, which is very, very hard to do, seeing as, eat healthy the rest of the time, and that one part of the day you go, oh, I gotta have a cheat. I gotta do something that feels good for my soul, not just for my body. Because, comfort food, it's good for your soul. And what's more comforting than chips and dip? But I'm working on that. But I'm just glad to have that incident over with. That painful incident over with. I'm no longer whimpering in the ER. And I've lost 20 pounds, keeping it off so far, which is good. In the last 5 years, I've lost a total of 70 pounds now through exercise and just eating a little less, but mostly more exercise. And working on my jawline, chewing to build up my jaw muscles a little bit so that there's more definition, exercising my facial muscles. And maybe I'll be at least passable enough to go out and into the world and maybe meet someone who will say, you're not too bad looking. You're in decent enough shape. Let's go. Yeah. I love my females. But anyway, that's another story altogether. But it's been a long time. I've been overweight for years, and I wrote for years, and that took up a lot of my time writing. 2 published novels to make of it, and I guess it's worth it, but it took me out of the game for a long time because by the end of the day, writing, you don't have much left for anything else. It's a cruel craft that takes everything out of you. I wasn't going out doing anything. And since I stopped writing a few years back, I still haven't gone out. That was part of my process of getting back in shape. If I wasn't going to write, I had to get back into shape, right? If I was going to try and meet someone. So that's what I've been doing. And I would like to thank Gastritis and his friend polyethylene glycol for your support in helping me lose my 20 pounds that I'm keeping off. This award goes to, in spirit, to my 2 best friends, whom I will never see again, hopefully. They're in my rearview mirror. And hopefully I won't have any more painful, traumatic, toxic friends like that anymore to make me suffer and lose 25 pounds and then gain 5 pounds back after I've been able to eat right again. But anyway, my story has gone on long enough, and I am sure you are being bored half to tears, so I'm going to leave you now and maybe make another video, and this time a music video. I'm thinking of making a music video of Heart of Gold by Neil Young. Tune in. It's a possibility. Until then, I'll see you later, alligator.